There's nothing in the world like action parks.
I did get hurt on a ride that was called Cannonball Falls. I'm going down this water slide, I enter the tunnel and you just hear people, oh no, ahead of you, oh no, 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 no. So you're like, what's going on here?
And then you see this little piece of light at the bottom of the tunnel, and then you just get shot out, and you just be there in the middle of like the air.
And I'm not kidding when I say you're at minimum 10 feet in the air. It shoots you out the side of a mountain, and you're just like in the sky. You think you're getting on a water slide, and the next thing you know, you're in the fucking sky, man.
You had a bar you had to hold on to and lower yourself to vertical.
And you just drop. And you've got to be free falling for a few seconds, and then you actually make contact with the water slide, and you go down.
Tops would come off, bottoms would be up around their shoulders. People would be all disoriented. Not the most pleasant experience.
You got your first colonic for free, courtesy of Action Park. I would say probably the most pleasant named ride, the Kayak Experience. I later came to learn that that is the one where someone was electrocuted to death.
There were underwater fans that would help push the water and created rapids like you were kayaking. And somebody flipped out of one of their kayaks and one of these fans short-circuited and they got electrocuted.
Negligence doesn't begin to even capture that particular death. Ungrounded electricity in a water park, that's the Kayak Experience. The Kayak Experience.
When people got to shoulder height depth, we call that area the death zone. To break a new lifeguard in, they'd be assigned to the death chair. And that was the lifeguard stand that overlooked the death zone on the wave pool. And literally the first 30 minutes to 45 minutes sitting in the death chair, that new lifeguard would save 3 to 4 to 5 people. People thought that drowning at the Action Park wave pool was part of the ride.
I remember this guy coming up behind me. He hit my tube right before the tunnel, and I went off to the side and I slammed my head into the center of this tube that you were meant to go through. Those ride attendants, they spent their time twisting their whistles and then just going, go, go, go. And a lot of the time, those tubes would bunch up. And then what happens when you get to the bottom when you have to squeeze into a particular area? People were crashing into each other, slamming on top of each other. One person would be in the water, the next person coming down would then dunk the next person and go under. And if you couldn't swim well, yikes.
Staff members started building up the jump by sliding the mats underneath, making it bigger and bigger and bigger until eventually one of the guests got seriously injured. We had been told the person broke his neck.
We should talk about that other ride that's right near there. The Colorado River ride. Holy shit, dude. I will say, Colorado River ride may have been the most underrated, dangerous ride.
There was one section where tubes tended to go right up an embankment, and everyone was looking at it expectantly, waiting for them to fly over the side. You would hear people audibly go, oh.
I mean, we're holding on, getting slammed into stuff, things getting stuck. We have to kind of stick our own legs out and push our way up. And then we go past a lifeguard chair that, you guessed it, is empty.
The design was flawed because the Grand Prix cars were right next to the beer tent.
So at 5 o'clock, guys would come up, they'd get a bunch of beers in them, they'd go down in Motor World to drive the cars.
Out of all the rides, my opinion, that's the craziest one because it's not the ride attendant's fault. You know, you can't always tell if someone's been drinking, and if you didn't stink like booze, they would never know.
Occasionally with the Lola cars, we would get a guest that instead of following the course would decide he wanted to make his own course, that he would just start driving around on the course, drive off the course.
I'd heard the employees figured out how to override the speed governor so that the go-karts could go as fast as 50 or 60 miles an hour.
Cannonball Loop was an enclosed tube water slide. You would climb to the top of a series of stairs and you would ride down the enclosed tube, and at the very end, the tube would go into a huge loop.
And you're supposed to go down feet first with your arms and legs crossed.
And then as soon as you like kind of scoot forward, and it just takes you. all of a sudden you're going really, really fast. Oh my God, I'm shitting my pants. It was absolutely terrifying. And then you feel, all of a sudden you feel your feet go up. And then as I go up, you kind of lose contact with the loop for a second. It just kind of, gravity just takes you, and you just kind of flop. The catch pond, wherever you landed, was way too short. You got to the bottom, and I'm like, shit, I did it. I made it. The loop was fun, and yes, it hurt.
At Action Park, the most dangerous ride, probably from sheer amount of injuries, would be the Alpine Slide.
It had a stick, and ostensibly, you're supposed to be able to pull up on the stick as a brake, push down on it to go faster. But one thing that I learned was very true. These sleds were often broken.
I didn't know it at the time, but the Alpine Slide was made of fiberglass, concrete, and mostly asbestos.
Cement track, it's summertime, people are in bathing suits, and they're flying down this path at full speed ahead, and they would just tumble off.
You'd go up into this lip, and if you didn't know how to distribute your weight when you came out of that bank turn, the thing would flip on you. And when the thing flipped on you, that's when it started to hurt.
Kid shows up back in the neighborhood, and like he's got a big burn on his thigh and his hip. You assume, oh, you fall off the Alpine Slide? He'd have to correct you. He'd have to, oh no, I had surgery.